One of the more important lessons my rich dad taught me, he said there was 4 types of people in the world of
Robert Kiyosaki, the self-proclaimed financial guru, best known for his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He promises financial freedom. But what if I told you that behind the flashy wealth and motivational speeches, there's a lot more than meets the eye? Is he really a financial genius or just another scam artist? Stay tuned as we uncover the truth about Fraud Dad.
Nothing wrong with buying a house.
Yeah.
Difference is I use debt to buy it.
Okay.
And I pay no taxes. It's not the house. It's not the stock. It's not the bond. It's not the ETF. It's your brains. So I would rather use debt and pay no taxes. They need people to borrow money. So when I go to a bank and I say, I want to borrow $20 million, I get huge tax breaks because I'm creating money.
I can't say whether I agree or disagree with Robert Kiyosaki. However, I wanted to let you know, if it works for him, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
So I had to work for Rich Dad, and finally I started to understand things. Like I'd work for free. He'd play my...
Robert Kiyosaki rose to fame in the late 90s with his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, claiming he learned life-changing financial lessons from his rich dad, a mysterious mentor who supposedly taught him the secrets of wealth. But there's one major problem. No one has ever been able to prove that Rich Dad even existed.
For a month for me to put this together, but I found out the truth. The real rich dad, the real poor dad, the real author, how they all got rich.
Journalists, critics, and even Kiyosaki himself have hinted that Rich Dad may have been fictional. In fact, in a 2006 interview, he admitted, "Is Rich Dad real? Who knows? It could be a composite of multiple people." Sounds a bit sketchy for a guy selling truthful financial advice, right? But let's move past the Rich Dad mystery. Even if the book was inspiring, Kiyosaki's real business isn't about teaching financial literacy. It's about selling you the dream of getting rich without giving real strategies.
He and his company have been accused of pushing overpriced seminars that cost thousands of dollars, some even reaching $45,000. Former attendees have claimed that these events don't actually teach them how to invest, but instead upsell more courses.
To call our credit card companies right away and get our limits raised, then challenges us to go big.
Ask for 100,000.
He even hands out scripts telling us what to say on the phone.
We have some scripts.
To raising my credit card, because my dad always told me.
Were you here while I was doing all this, or you were out?
No, I was here, but I know my dad has always said to me it's not a good idea to have it too high.
Is your dad wealthy?
He's okay.
Do what I tell you to do. Do it.
Says he sold a mobile home for $32 million, profit. But the reporters drive out to it in Saskatchewan and Robert and say, "Why you rich dads always lying?" He says, "Not fair. My partner's hired some fake rich dads. Not fair."
Well, I don't
That's
mean
not
for you
fair.
to feel
Okay,
that
that's
you're
not
under
fair.
attack. I'm
No,
just looking
that's
for
not fair.
answers from
That's
people
not
we've been
fair.
speaking to.
It's not fair.
But then this.
Now, one of those stories involves a 75-year-old widow in Missouri who took out a second mortgage for the $35,000 cost of a Rich Dad seminar. She later filed a lawsuit that was settled with no admission of liability.
I think it cost us about $15,000. We could have found all of the information they gave us in a book from Barnes & Noble.
At least he can afford to laugh about it. That's not the case for Robert Maurice of Tennessee. Maurice and his wife later filed bankruptcy. The company, without admitting liability, agreed to pay the AG $500,000 plus another $194,000 in restitution to victims who attended seminars. Nor was there mention of this. One of Kiyosaki's companies, Rich Global, filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy last year after getting hit with a $23 million court judgment.
That's right. The guy who tells you how to build wealth had his own company go bankrupt. Make it make sense.
Here's where things get even messier. Kiyosaki has openly promoted multi-level marketing, MLM schemes, claiming that they are a great way to get started in business. But here's the reality. Most people in MLMs
And yet Kiyosaki keeps pushing them, appearing at their events and encouraging people to think like an entrepreneur. But is he really helping, or just helping MLM companies recruit more victims?
That makes the Rich Dad company different is most people think that savings is smart, but my rich dad told me years ago that savers are losers. Now I know this goes against the grain what most people tell you, save money, save money, save money. But the reason savers are losers.
No?
1.2 billion.
1.2 billion. Okay. There we go.
So today I own about 12,000 rental units, but that's not the story. The real story is how did I acquire those property? I used debt. And that's what they don't teach you in school. You see, the more debt I use, the more property I own, the less tax I pay. And so then these communist school teachers tell you to get out of debt, like, what's his name, Dave Ramsey and all that, live debt free. And that's good advice for the average person because debt will kill you. But debt is money today. And so when I acquire an asset, I use debt.
Now let's talk about his actual financial advice. One of his most famous claims is, savers are losers. He argues that saving money is pointless due to inflation, and that you should use debt to get rich. But for the average person, taking on massive debt to invest can be incredibly risky. While it's true that smart investors can use debt wisely, the way Kiyosaki frames it makes it sound easy and foolproof, which it's not. So,